Salutations, my friends! This is Buster again with another episode of Buster's Daily Rift. And surprise, surprise, I already missed a day. Yesterday I tried to get out a video, which you see right now. But because of a couple of reasons, it didn't go out as planned. First of all, as you may notice while seeing me rushing through the mobs in the background, this is not a rift, this are bounties. What you're watching at now is all 5 bounties in 8 times speed. Enjoy it. Therefore this is of course a voiceover and not live commentary, and you may hear a little music in the background. So, why all this? First of all, I listened to the first video and I think I didn't go over the patch notes as good as I wanted it to be. So this will be a more detailed episode about the recent patch notes, which are 2.0.5a. And yeah, first, why the bounties are not a rift? It is since yesterday the anniversary of Diablo 3, and therefore all players, well, at least all players for the PC and the Mac version, which I am using, get the bonus for the anniversary, and the bonus is more rift keystones when you do bounties, because bounties are the only way to get rift keystones, and increased legendary drop rate by 100%, which of course infects both rifts and bounties. So in bounties you have now 200% legendary drop rate with the buff, and in rifts you have 300% increased drop rate, which of course don't mean that you get a guaranteed legendary, or 3 for that matter. It just means that the overall chance to get a legendary is increased by 200 or 300%. Nobody knows the actual drop rate you can have for a legendary, but maybe it's for each item you can get maybe a chance of 0.1 or 0.2 that it could be a legendary, and this actual drop chance is increased by now an additional 100%, which leads to the 200% for bounties and 300% for rifts. So now over to the actual patch notes. I will start with the general stuff and then go a little bit into detail of the Crusader. I will remain with the Crusader because I have actually no clue what the other classes are about. So start with the general stuff. Increase the radius of strength in numbers from 100 to 200 yards. This is the multiplayer buff. Whenever you play with other people, each player in the party gives you 1 stack of the buff strength in numbers, and the area you can have the buff is now increased to 200 yards, which is quite good when you are a little bit spread out. It won't work in split bounties, of course, because you are far too far spread out. What a bad sentence. But will definitely work in rifts and when you do bounties together. So now, the gold fight items are now, what a word, multiplicatively with gold fight bonus. So, and the cap is removed. You can now stack gold find as far as you want, which may be useful. At least when you are at high torment levels and don't know what to do, and you can farm gold instead. Hey, what a fun. The vote kick system received an overall makeover and is now less restrictive. You can now kick players after 2 minutes into the game, which means far less AFK players in split bounties, which is really nice. What have we next? This is not really important. Changes to the adventure mode. And another reason why I'm doing bounties. The Heredic caches has now increased legendary drop rate from torment levels 2 to 6. Lowered reverse, that's not really important. And Kadala received a makeover. Kadala can now drop, or you can buy torment only legendaries from Kadala, which is new. It was just a certain amount of items you can buy with blood shards from her, and now you can buy everything because you can have the chance to buy it. She will always gives you the weapon type your character can equip. That's not really that important, although it's useful. Increase the number of blood shards that can drop from Heredic caches. Yeah, this is... Well, I made it a lot of bounties since yesterday, and usually you have 1 blood shard in the caches, and now you can have what was the maximum I saw was 12, I think, and it's usually around 10. So yeah, it is better, but the best way to farm blood shards is still rifts, and I guess this is the way it should be. The number of blood shards are also increased that are dropped by Rift Guardians on torment level 1 to 6. So it really pays out if you do higher torment level now, because you gather more blood shards. And blood shards means possible legendaries. And because of the fact you can now buy, or you can have the chance to buy, every single legendary in the game from Kadala, blood shards are more worth than ever. Crafting. They changed a little bit to crafting. Crafting legendaries and legendary set items no longer require the common armors or weapons you needed before. It was really a little bit of a pain in the butt to farm all these white armor pieces and weapons to craft the legendary counterpart. Now you just need the common crafting material instead of that, which is for the highest tier, the reusable parts. They changed a little bit the crafting of rings and amulets to now require marquee gems instead of imperial gems, so they reduced the cost of crafting them. And also very nice, the unsocket costs of the of higher tier gems from the equipment is also reduced. They changed the mystic also, so it's no longer possible for the same affix to be randomly selected as the replacement for both of the new rolls. Maybe you had an affix which said 10% life. You want to re-roll it and get strength. And then you re-roll it and both new options are also percentage life, which was really bad. So this can not longer happen. What else? This is not really that important. Okay, they changed a little bit to monsters and to champion packs and rare spawns. It is no longer possible that champions and elite monsters can have 4 of the baddest affixes together. And these are Arcane Enchanted, Desecrator, Fire Chains, Frozen Pulse, Molten, Mortar, Orbiter, Plagued, Poison Enchanted, and Wormhole. It was possible to have 4 of these affixes together in one champion pack or one elite. This is no longer possible. It's just possible they have 3 of them, and the chance they have 3 is also reduced. So the elite and champion packs are a little bit easier right now. This was it, the overall general stuff. Now we go a little bit deeper into the Crusader. The damage reduction is increased to 30% from 15%, which means we are now at the same damage reduction level as monks and barbarian, which is really nice. It plays much more fluent to have a little more toughness. Then to specific skills. I won't go over every single rune, just try to match the most important, at least in my opinion, the most important. They redesigned Akarat's champion. The skill now increases the damage you deal by 35%, which is quite nice. They increase the wrath regeneration by 5 per second, and it makes you immune to crowd control effects. This is overall the same, no matter what rune you equip. So they removed the immunity to death thing from the skill, and they put it into a skill rune, which is now Prophet. Prophet now also returns you to full health the first time you take fatal damage, which is quite nice in hardcore, of course, which I play. And they changed Rally. Rally now reduces the remaining cooldown of your other abilities by 12 seconds when Akarat's champion is activated. So less button smashing with Rally and a little bit more consistency. Then a lot of skills gain a damage boost, beginning with Blast Hammer, which is increased from 200 to 320%. Blast Shield increased from 340 to 430. Bombardment has changed in the way the single meteors drop to the ground, and it's now static 0.35 seconds delay between the single bombardment assaults. So it doesn't really change that much, it just gives it more consistency. Falling Sword. Damage increased from 1100 to 1700, and it replaces the knockback effect with just a small knock-up. The knockback was really bad for a melee class. Fist of Heavens. Explosion weapon damage increased from 340 to 400 to 545. And the bolt weapon damage got a little bit reduction from 340 to 255. So, Heaven's Fury. Weapon damage increased from 1260 to 1710, which makes it far more better for single target damage, at least with the Ascendancy rune equipped, which I play with. Justice also got a damage increase from 240 to 245. 5 little percent. All laws got a cooldown reduction to 30 seconds, which made them far more useful for the active effect sides. The Phalanx was also increased from 380 to 490, and every single enemy can now hit multiple times by a Phalanx avatar. Punish. Weapon damage increased from 270 to 335, which is also quite useful for the build I use, which uses Punish as the main Wrath builder. And Shield Bash Shield Bash should now be more reliable, hit targets close to the Crusader. It will only always be a little bit of pain in the butt to use Shield Bash, and you wanted to charge to a target and nothing happens. And even targets close in front of you wasn't getting hit by Shield Bash, which made it a overall, in my opinion, useless skill. At least with the high wrath cost of 30 wrath per Shield Bash, which is really a lot of wrath. Also, the Shield Bash causes the player to charge the enemy. The enemy will now be rooted for 1 second on cast. So the hit with Shield Bash is more or less guaranteed when you charge the target. And also it has a smart target system. Now Shield Bash will be more reliable. Slash got an increase from 190 to 230%. And Smite, another in my opinion useless skill, weapon damage increased from 165 to 175 on primary targets, and the increase on the secondary targets, with the chain connected targets, are 125 to 150. Also, the range got an increase to 30%, and it may now destroy destructible objects, but prioritize enemies. So it got a little bit better use, but I don't think I will use it at all. Steed Charge got a duration increase to 2 seconds, and the cooldown now starts immediately when you use the skill. And also, which is quite nice, Steed Charge now goes through destructible objects and doors, which is really useful when you hop on your horse and the next thing you end for a door. In front of a door nothing happens, so now you can rush through it, also through barricades and stuff like that. Sweep attack, weapon damage increased from 440 to 480, and the cone is a little bit widened and matches now the visual of 180 degrees, so you really have a half circle in front of you that get hit by sweep attack. A few of the passive skills also got an overhaul. The Nephilim Majesty is now gone, and therefore we got Fanatism, which increases the attack speed of Justice, Punish, Slash and Smite by 15%. Quite useful. The War had been redesigned, and it now allows us to wield one-handed weapons with more damage, and you get an attack speed increase by 50% and cooldown reduction by 50% when you wield a one-handed weapon with the War equipped. Finery has been redesigned, and you now gain 1.5% strength instead of the fixed 50 before. Heavenly Strength now got the movement speed penalty removed, which is really nice, so you're now at the same speed as all other players. Woohoo! Holy Cause now just no longer do just holy weapon damage, it increases the damage of all weapons by 10%. Indestructible now got a new design that when you receive fatal damage, you instead become immune to damage, gain 35% increased damage, and a lot of life per kill for 5 seconds. That may occur every 60 seconds, so you are less likely to die, at least in hardcore, which is quite useful. Then what else? Insurmountable? Is this the right word? I guess. Blocking now attack generates 6 wrath. Wrath regeneration is always the matter at Crusaders, so this is quite a useful skill. Iron Maiden has also been redesigned, and you now increase the thorns by 50% instead of the fixed amount before. Towering Shield has been redesigned and increases the damage of Blast Shield, Punish and Shield Bash by 20%. Before the patch we only had Blunt, which increases Blast Hammer and Justice, and now we get the increase of 20% also for the Blast Shield, Punish and Shield Bash, which is quite nice. And it reduces the cooldown of Shield Glare by 30%. I don't play with it, but it's quite useful. And Vigilant increases now the non-physical damage reduction from 5 to 20%. Also they changed a little bit to the Crusader shields, which should now roll with higher block amounts, and it should affect already existing legendary Crusader shields. But for my shield, the Jiken board, it changed nothing. So it may not reflect, it may not affect every single shield, or they maybe think that, I don't know, I think 11% is already enough. Yeah, I don't know. But I will call it an end right here. I already talked longer than I had video footage to show you. Now you may watch me standing somewhere in Tristram and idling. Exciting. Hope you enjoy the slightly different episode, and hope also to see you next time. Then we will do regular rifts again. And until then, I wish you all a very lovely week. Bye bye.